The 2025 NBA season is nearing its end, or it's already over depending on when this video actually gets uploaded, which means it is time for me to release my top 100 players in the league for the year that was. This is a yearly tradition on this channel, although if you go back in time and look through my videos, you'll only see 2 uploads of this nature. This is a big video. It takes a lot of time to put it together, takes a lot of time to edit it. My computer sometimes just shuts off if it's working too hard, so if you're watching this, then that's awesome. If you're not watching it, then I'm just talking to myself. One thing to know about this list, the only rule that I have is that the player, in order to qualify, has to reach 50 games played. That is the rule that I had last year, and is the rule that I will maintain. So I am sorry to the fans of Victor Wembanyama, Paolo Banchero, Zion Williamson, Joel Embiid, Kristaps Porzingis, Paul George if there are any, LaMelo Ball, and many more. If you want to include them, feel free to on your own list. Comment you have done so and I will check it out. But of course, I am talking about this prior to the end of the year. So I actually started putting this video together in February, then March came, and now it's April. Hopefully, I don't have anyone on this list who's played under 50 games. Hopefully everyone here reached the 50 mark, but if I'm a little bit off, please forgive me. Another thing to know about my list is that other than hitting the games played mark, I am throwing durability completely out the window when comparing guys. So if player A is better than player B, but player A played 20 less games, that doesn't matter. I'm going to rank player A better. Before we dive in, please do me a big favor and like the video as it helps me out a lot more than I think you guys realize, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I am trying to get to as many subscribers as I possibly can by the end of the week, so let's make that happen. Now let's start everything off at number 100, Stephon Castle. A lot of people are picking Castle to be the Rookie of the Year, and this is for very good reason. He was one of the most productive players of his class, and he had some very exciting moments for a Spurs team that spent most of the year fighting for a playoff spot. But you cannot ignore his shooting woes. Castle ranked 3rd to last in the entire NBA in effective field goal rate, and he was dead last in three-point shooting. 174 out of 174. Number 99, Zaccharie Risacher. It is pretty rare for a number 1 overall pick to become completely irrelevant to mainstream media's eyes right after they are drafted, but that was the reality for Risacher. He had a very pedestrian start to his career before entering a pretty ugly slump midway through the year, but Atlanta never gave up on him and he slowly started putting it all together in the latter half. He shot the ball very well down the stretch and was a major reason they were as competitive up to game 82 as they were. Number 98, Lu Dort. Some people love the way Dort plays defense, most others hate it, but regardless of what you think, you cannot deny that he is a strong, physical, and smart hound around the perimeter who will get under his opponent's skin, and on offense, he has figured out that long ball at a very solid rate. Number 97, Donte DiVincenzo. The year opened up bleakly for Donte in Minnesota as it was very apparent he did not want to be there. But throughout the season, he found his passion again, he embraced his new city, started knocking down his long shots, improved his defense, and became the playmaker his team needed. Number 96, Yves Missi. From the jump, Missi was the most reliable rookie in his class. He was a near double-double threat every night who played well above the rim, causing plenty of havoc defensively. He looks like a center well beyond his years in the strength and confidence department, and New Orleans is very happy and lucky to have him. Number 95, Malik Beasley. An afterthought veteran signing to open up the year, Malik proved he is still a valuable contributor in the league. His outside shot has been crucial to Detroit's run towards the playoffs, and though he may not be known to do much other than score, he at least holds his own defensively. Number 94, Russell Westbrook. Many people, myself included, were not expecting much from Westbrook this year. With his athleticism fading, there was good reason to be concerned, but he found a way to be as impactful as he could have been. His offensive orchestrating was crucial to give Jokic breaks, plus his defense was a pleasant surprise. Number 93, Luke Kennard. One of the best three-point shooters in the league. Everyone knows why Kennard is on the floor, but he still finds ways to get open and knock down his long threes in just about any situation. He also has steadily been improving as a passer, taking advantage of defenses crashing aggressively, creating open looks for his teammates. Number 92, Kel'el Ware. If it were not for Miami seemingly not noticing Ware was on their roster until around Christmas, he very well may be in the running to win the Rookie of the Year award. Ware did an excellent job playing both as a backup and out of position as a 4 this year. He especially played how I anticipated around the rim on both ends, but the outside shot was a little bit shaky. Number 91, Bradley Beal. In a vacuum, Beal doesn't look half bad. He is a very good shooter who can put the ball on the floor and create looks for others when needed to. He also has a lot of confidence but doesn't demand touches, preferring to score in the natural flow of the offense. Unfortunately, he earns over $50 million and is nowhere near even a top 50 player in the league, so his reputation is pretty tainted as a result. Number 90, Julius Randle. A talented scorer inside the arc in the half-court set, but Randle still has the same problems that have plagued his entire career. His three-point shot is not very reliable, and he's not a good defensive player. Still though, Minnesota has appreciated what he's given them. Number 89, Jose Alvarado. Already one of the peskiest perimeter defenders in the sport, he has made big improvements to his offensive game. Alvarado is a very good playmaker and shooter even at his smaller size. He doesn't have the physical tools most of the league's best defenders have, but he has the IQ and the quick hands to set himself apart. Number 88, Ausar Thompson. If it were not for a health scare to open up the year, I'm sure Ausar would be much lower on my list like his brother. But at this point in the year, he does pretty much the same things. Ausar is a spectacular defender and inside the arc scorer. He can also rebound with the bigs, pass very well, and just in general is a hyper athlete who uses his athleticism very well. The outside shot remains his kryptonite though, but you have to respect what he is capable of. Number 87, Rui Hachimura. A very important floor spacer, Rui has been crucial to LA all year long as one of the very few reliable producers offensively. He doesn't have a lot of highlight plays, but he is a very important role player who does at least a little bit of everything. Number 86, Miles Bridges. Not a lot went right in Charlotte this year, but Miles was healthy and productive. The outside shot was unimpressive though, and his defense was bad. Still, he was a pretty good inside the arc scorer, especially at the rim. Number 85, Quentin Grimes. Not long ago, Grimes was a solid player trying to establish a significant role for himself on a talented but hobbled Dallas team. Then he was dealt to Philly and he took off. With the Sixers, Grimes has broken through and proven he can be a team's go-to option for scoring both beyond the arc and inside around the hoop. His shooting efficiency remaining so high, even with an increased role, is something to marvel at, and defensively he does a very good job. Number 84, Jaden McDaniels. Minnesota fans have to be pleased with the defensive impact McDaniels brings every night. He is the ideal dream NBA power forward capable of guarding pretty much anyone 1 through 4, and he holds his own against plenty of bigs. His offensive game is pretty limited though, but still I think he does more than enough defensively. Number 83, Draymond Green. Not the player he used to be, but Draymond remains the anchor to Golden State. He is a leader on the court, barking out directions on both ends, while still holding his own impressively. Plus, he can still pass very well, and his outside shot fell at a decent clip this year. Number 82, Grayson Allen. Phoenix had a terrible year, but Allen once again was a bright spot for them off the bench. His outside shot was as good as it comes in the league, plus he does a very good job putting the ball on the floor and attacking the rim using his strength and length. His passing was also on full display and his defense was very good. Number 81, Zach Edey. Exactly why most YouTubers refuse to give Edey praise is beyond me. He has been the best rookie in the class of 2025, and he is my pick to win the Rookie of the Year award. No other first-year guy is already a starter and a crucial role player to a team that has been competing for the top 4 seed in the playoffs all year long. Edey's offensive game has translated very well to the league, as he is an extremely efficient scorer on the post, he can catch lobs, and he can space the floor out with a reliable 3-point shot. He also rebounds extremely well, and he defends the rim far better than most people seem to want to admit. Number 80, Klay Thompson. This may be a nightmare year for Dallas, but at least Klay produced pretty much exactly what they were hoping for. He is a 3-point sharpshooter who can get looks off in a hurry, even at his older age and as a step slower. Plus, his strength and length help him to hold his own defensively, even if he's not quite that good on that end like he used to be. Number 79, Jalen Duren. Though the upside is not as high as Detroit surely hoped for, Duren is still a powerful double-double machine with a killer mentality. He dunks everything around the rim, rebounds very well, and he holds his own defensively even though he's a bit undersized. Number 78, Toumani Camara. A pretty great story, as Camara was barely picked in the draft, going 52nd overall a couple years ago. But holy cow, he is a genuinely good NBA player. Camara is a big wing who can shoot, attack the rim, pass, and defend just about anyone. He especially does well around the perimeter, where he can use his length, strength, and speed to his advantage. Number 77, Deni Avdija. It was another slow start to the year for Deni, but he found his rhythm as time went on, and he became a very important player to Portland down the stretch. He is capable of doing just about anything offensively, both in the fast break and the half-court set, but he is not someone who will take over games. Still though, he is an excellent piece to have. Number 76, Jakob Poeltl. It may seem out of place to have Poeltl on this list because people don't really talk about him, but even with Toronto's struggles this year, you never had to question their interior defensive presence. Poeltl is a talented rim protector and rebounder who sets good screens and finishes at the rim pretty well. He doesn't have much of an offensive bag, nor does he create for others, but he does what he is asked to do very well. Number 75, Rudy Gobert. Though not as impactful as he once was, obviously, Gobert remains a talented rim protector and defensive leader. Even if not necessarily getting a touch on the ball, he bothers every shot near the hoop. Plus on offense, he is still a dunking machine. Number 74, Anthony Simons. The most reliable offensive producer in Portland in 2025. Simons showcased he can score a bunch in the league, both in the long range and off the dribble inside the arc. His passing was also underrated, as though he mostly was used off ball, he created many looks for his teammates late in the shot clock. Number 73, Jalen Green. Not as great a year as I am sure Houston was hoping for, but still a good season nonetheless. Green can shoot okay, but he does best when he has a lane and can attack the rim. We need to see his defense and passing improve, but he at least is alright in those areas right now, and he has a ton of potential to further develop. Number 72, Mikal Bridges. The honeymoon phase was brief in New York, and Bridges is being scrutinized an awful lot. His defense took a step back this year, you cannot deny that. In fact, pretty much every aspect of his game did, but he is still a solid player pretty much all around, especially in the not often drawn up, but very useful when needed off the dribble mid-range jump shot. Number 71, OG Anunoby. The second 3-and-D amigo in New York, Anunoby was a solid player in 2025, but did not stand out very much. His outside shot was fine, his perimeter defense was dependable, and he held his own inside the arc defensively as well. You did not hear much about him this year, but he was an important piece to New York, separating themselves towards the top of the East. Number 70, Brook Lopez. Another year of Lopez doing what he does. He is a massive interior defensive presence who protects the rim with the best of them, and thanks to his extreme size, sets great screens and keeps people out of the paint on the boards. His outside shot is the make or break element of his game, and in 2025 it fell at a solid enough clip. Number 69, Collin Sexton. The Utah Jazz front office did everything they could to lose this year, but I won't let that stop me from acknowledging their talented players. Collin did the very best he could with what was around him. He is a point guard who can shoot with the best of them, attack the rim as well, and his passing is what anyone could have hoped for. Plus, he tried his best on defense even if that wasn't his strong suit. Number 68, PJ Washington. An important, high-energy power forward who is counted on to be physical inside with the bigs, as well as he needed to play around the perimeter with quick guards. PJ did a very good job with either assignment. Unfortunately, though his outside shooting was reliable, he had a hard time finishing inside the paint this year. Number 67, Trey Murphy. Every year, a couple guys go from players I barely think about to genuinely very, very good, potentially top 50 talents, and this year, that was Trey Murphy. His scoring was dependable, he created very well for others, even as an off-ball wing, and he did a good job defensively, often being stuck on the opposition's best player. New Orleans does not have much to be happy about, but he is one. Number 66, Fred VanVleet. Houston has been better this year than they have been in a very long time, and Fred is a major reason for this. Not necessarily because of his individual production, but more so as a floor general and overall team leader. His shooting has not been special, but he did a very good job defensively and he was a good playmaker. Number 65, Coby White. Coby has found his stride in Chicago, but the team remains pretty unremarkable. Nevertheless, his shooting and playmaking have been important to keeping them in games, and he has exploded for some massive point totals throughout the year, especially down the stretch. Defensively, he could be better, but offensively, he is great. Number 64, Christian Braun. A big-time most improved player candidate, Braun has been everything Denver could have hoped for in 2025. His confidence rose along with his on-court abilities. His outside shot remained pure, but his interior scoring is what took off as the green light was finally turned on and he started taking more and more shots. Braun being as productive as he has been has helped make their MVP candidate's life so much easier. Number 63, Amen Thompson. Essentially a more realized version of his brother Ausar. Amen is a very fun player to watch who have found plenty of ways to be impactful doing every type of little thing there is on the court. His offense obviously needs to get better because that three-point shot is pretty terrible. There is no such thing as a modern NBA wing who can't shoot the three ball, unless you're Giannis Antetokounmpo. Still though, he is one of the best players in the sport. Hopefully that shooting can come around. Number 62, Josh Hart. A head coach's dream type player, Hart does every type of little thing on the floor. He is one of the best rebounders in the league despite standing only 6'4", and his defense holds up against almost anyone regardless of size or ability. Hart can score inside the arc, pass, and is at least respectable from deep. He has his limitations, but he is a very valuable player. Number 61, Cameron Johnson. A professional scorer who can do his damage both beyond the arc and off the dribble, Cam is a valuable player to have, and any team would want him in their rotation. But Brooklyn decided to sit on him at the trade deadline and bench him seemingly every other game as they tank, which would be a very frustrating way to spend one of your prime years in the NBA. Number 60, Jarrett Allen. Cleveland has been one of the very best teams in basketball for most of 2025, and the anchor to their team is Allen. He may not blow you away really in any one attribute, but he is an excellent team leader who orchestrates the defense with the best of them, rebounds very well, and he can finish dunks around the rim at a high rate. He doesn't really have much of an offensive bag, nor can he shoot, or pass, or dribble, but he does what he does very well, and it has led to a lot of wins. Number 59, Aaron Gordon. Gordon just keeps getting better with age as he grows stronger and his skills become more refined. The massive unit of a forward remains a problem around the rim offensively, but he also became one of the league's very best long-range shooters this year. This creates a ton of space for his team, leading to a lot of beautiful passes for easy layups. Number 58, Ty Jerome. I definitely did not expect to be talking about Jerome in a top 100 video. In fact, I have thought Jerome was on his way out of the league for a while. But Cleveland unlocked something nobody else saw. Jerome is both a Sixth Man of the Year and Most Improved Player candidate thanks to his terrific playmaking, good defense, and spectacular outside shooting. He is everything an NBA team could hope for as a backup one. Number 57, Isaiah Hartenstein. A late bloomer for sure, iHeart has been exactly what OKC has needed this year. He is a rock-solid, massive 5 who can rebound with the best of them, pass to cutters and shooters, set great screens to free up space, and he can score anything within 10 feet. His addition to the Thunder pushed them over the top from being a talented young team to one of the best squads in the sport. It will be a lot of fun to see how the postseason goes for him. Number 56, Naz Reid. He broke out last year winning the Most Improved Player award, and in 2025 he pretty much kept it going. Naz is strong and plays pretty well around the hoop defensively, but on offense that's where he really shines as a guy who can shoot the long ball and attack the rim. It sounds like he is looking for an increased role next year, and honestly I can't blame him. Number 55, DeAndre Hunter. This was a very important year for Hunter, as going in, his role in Atlanta's future looked foggy. But he really has shown out and established himself as one of the best wing shooters in the league. Since being traded to Cleveland, he has actually become one of the very best three-point shooters in the sport. He needs to improve his inside-the-arc scoring and his defense, but as a floor spacer with size, he really can't do much better. Number 54, Michael Porter Jr. It was another year of him proving to be one of the league's best shooting forwards. Along with his outside touch, in 2025 he started attacking the rim a little more often, and he had a good deal of success doing so. You still wish he was more of a rebounder, versatile on offense, and was a better defensive player with his size, but Porter does a pretty good job, and any team would love to have him. Number 53, Desmond Bane. Most of the NBA's best teams have a superstar leading them, and then there's Memphis. Bane was probably the most reliable scorer they had all year. His combination of outside shooting and rim attacking were crucial to their success, and his strength and IQ were showcased on defense very well. He may not be a star, but he is a very valuable player. Number 52, Miles Turner. Just another very good season for Turner. He has been the man in the middle for Indiana for 10 straight years, providing them rim protection, rim running, and floor spacing. And in 2025, he knocked down what was, at least at the time of me writing this down, a career high from deep. Turner is a super important piece to the Indiana machine. They don't have the flashy star power most of the other great teams in the East have, but thanks to guys like Turner doing their job so well, they are right up there in the top 4 mix. Number 51, CJ McCollum. An extremely disappointing year for New Orleans, but CJ did what they could have hoped for, at least when he was available to play. His ability to score has been a constant throughout his long career. McCollum can shoot the 3 or drive and score in the mid-range or even at the hoop. And if defenses smother him, he will always find the better shot elsewhere. Defensively, he was unremarkable, but that is how he has always been. Moving on to the top 50. At number 50, Peyton Pritchard. Another guy who is a serious threat to claim both the Sixth Man and Most Improved Player awards. Pritchard was great in 2025. His long-range shooting was electric, his passing was sharp, and he did a decent job on defense around the arc. Boston was great all year long, even with some noteworthy regression from their stars and injury woes. And Pritchard was a major reason for this. Number 49, Jaylen Brown. I know Celtic fans won't like me saying this, but 2025 was not a good year for Brown. His outside shot abandoned him, and his inside the arc shooting didn't make up for it. Brown is still a very good defensive player, and he is a good playmaker, and he can still score a lot of points. So even though he did not have a great year by his standards, he's still doing what he can to help Boston be near the very top of the league. Number 48, Walker Kessler. It does not matter your opinion of Utah, you cannot deny that Kessler is one of the best defensive players in the sport. He is the league leader in block shots as of me preparing this, as well as being inside the top 5 in rebounding. Offensively, he also further mastered his playstyle as a pure-blooded dunking machine, as he led the entire league in 2-point shooting percentage as well as offensive rebounding. There are limits to his game, but amongst guys who specialize in his niche, he is one of the very best. Number 47, James Harden. Even as he gets older, Harden remains an extremely skilled ball handler and passer who can make things happen on offense. But his outside shot was kind of average this year, and his inside the arc scoring was worse than it should be. He had his moments, but on average, he was a bit of an inefficient stat stuffer. Even despite this though, he was crucial to LAC remaining competitive all year long. Number 46, Scottie Barnes. 2025 got off to a very rough start, but as he developed a rhythm, he started to look more and more like the player Toronto wants to build their franchise around. Scottie is a great defensive player both inside and out. He rebounds well for his position and he can pass like a guard. But his shooting was a problem all year long. Hopefully next year he can find that outside touch so he can become the all-star type player they're hoping he can be. Number 45, Jaren Jackson Jr. Last year was difficult for Triple J as he was the primary shot creator often, but this year he was moved back to an off-ball role and he refound his stride. Jackson is a good rim roller and driver, but can also be trusted to knock down the long ball on a decently high frequency. He is not the defensive monster he used to be, but he is a better team defender now than he probably ever was before. He needs to rebound more though. That is probably the biggest glaring problem with his game. Number 44, Derek White. A lot of people would probably tell you White took a step back this year because you aren't hearing his name brought up very much in mainstream media, but he was just as good as he's ever been. White is a very good point guard for Boston who can knock down a lot of threes at a good rate, create for others off the dribble, and defend with the very best of them. Boston is a well-oiled machine and White is a major reason for this. Number 43, Bam Adebayo. The year opened up very poorly for Bam. He was not shooting well, his defense wasn't good, and he was looking more passive than ever. But around the halfway point, he started to pick it up and return to his old stride. Bam is a very good center and any team would be happy to have him. He can shoot the mid-range set shot, he can move with the ball, he can pass, and he battles very hard on the glass. He may not be taking a step into superstardom, but he is still a very good player. Number 42, Josh Giddey. Another guy who has his name in the most improved player race for very good reason. After the All-Star break, something finally clicked for Giddey. Finally being used as the team's true point guard with the ball in his hands, he is showcasing his playmaking, he's rebounding well, he's scoring inside the arc, and he is making his threes at a high rate. Chicago has had a ton of success to close out the season, thanks in large part to Giddey. Number 41, Ivica Zubac. The Clippers were all over the headlines coming into the year for the wrong reasons, as they had fumbled the Paul George situation, and Kawhi Leonard was once again hurt for who knows how long. They needed some of their sure thing veteran talent to dig deep and do something they had not done before, and Zubac achieved exactly this. He was a tank at the 5 all year long, putting up career highs almost across the board, finishing top 5 in the league in rebounding. They were extremely lucky to have him. Number 40, Jordan Poole. Yes, at number 40 is the meme man himself, Jordan Poole. It may shock you to see a Washington player within the top 50, especially someone with as bad a reputation as Poole, but 2025 was a major step both towards getting back on track and moving forward. Poole was a very good player this year. His deep shooting was dependable and at a very high volume. His passing and playmaking were counted on as the team around him did not have very many creators, and his defense was actually better than you probably realize. If you put some actual NBA players around Poole, you surely will get a play-in team in the East. Number 39, Ja Morant. 2025 needed to be a redemption year for Morant, and though he played extremely hard, had some incredible moments, and Memphis battled for a top 4 seed all year long, he himself was not as sharp as he has been in years past. Morant is an incredible playmaker, passer, and rim finisher. He is a ton of fun to watch offensively, but his shooting is just terrible. And though he is not a bad defensive player, he is not the ball hawk he flashed in his younger years. I feel that Morant maybe has not been working on his game as much as he used to. Now that he has the reputation that he has, it seems like he's really playing into that more so than grinding to become the best player he can be. That's what it looks like to me. Maybe I'm completely off. Number 38, Tyrese Maxey. This ended up being a nightmare year in Philly, even despite Maxey doing everything he could to try to win games early on. With all the injuries around him, he took more shots than ever before, trying to make up for the offense they were missing, but it resulted in some pretty abysmal shooting nights. Maxey is a good player on both sides of the ball, producing plenty of nice passes and finishing within the top 5 in the league in steals, but he was asked to do too much in 2025, and he lacked the firepower around him to make a playoff push. Number 37, Alperen Şengün. After breaking out last year, Şengün stagnated a bit in year 4, mostly as a result of his awful shooting both inside and beyond the arc. This meant defenses could sag off him a bit, which put limitations to what he most excels at in passing to his teammates. Still though, he was a solid rebounder and defensive player, and most importantly, the Rockets have been battling for a top 2 spot down the stretch. I hope with time he can figure out that shooting part of his game. Number 36, RJ Barrett. After getting traded last year, RJ broke out and began playing like the guy scouts hoped he could one day become. Coming into this year, it was going to be really interesting to see how he would perform in his first full year with his new Toronto team. RJ wasn't just a solid player, he was a great player this year. He shot the ball really well from distance and off the dribble inside the arc, and he created looks for others far better than ever before. The defense is still not great or good, but hopefully as the team gets more all-in next year, that aspect of his game will improve. Number 35, De'Aaron Fox. One of the quickest players in the sport, that's what people love to say. Fox used his speed and sharp ball handling to carve up defenses for looks inside the arc and finished these pretty well around the rim. He also was a hound around the perimeter, racking up deflections and snagging plenty of steals. But there has always been a cap to what he is capable of due to his just poor outside shot, and that did not get any better in 2025. Even despite his shooting woes, a lot of people were really excited to see how he and Victor Wembanyama would do paired up after the trade deadline, but that fire was very quickly extinguished as Wemby's season-ending health scare, followed by Fox opting to have an elective season-ending surgery, just turned everything off. Number 34, DeMar DeRozan. One of the most overlooked 20 plus per game guys in the league for what feels like a decade. DeRozan just had another terrific season, this time with the shaky Sacramento Kings. It just goes to show that he is a bucket getter for hire and he can do damage in any environment. 2025 also saw his outside shot fall at a career high rate. I think DeRozan is a fun player to watch, even if it seems like most people kind of forget he's even there. Number 33, Dyson Daniels. A massive most improved player and defensive player of the year candidate. He's my pick to win the DPOY. Dyson was on another level in 2025. His defensive instincts combined with his strength, length, and quick hands led him to lead the entire NBA in steals by a mile at 3 per game. He, on more than just a few occasions, clamped up the opposition's best player in crunch time to clinch wins for Atlanta. And on offense, his game has come a very long way. His passing and scoring have both made major strides, obviously learning a thing or two from his new teammate Trae Young. It was a lot of fun to watch Dyson this year, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun watching him in the postseason as well. Number 32, Austin Reaves. Every year in the NBA, Reaves has gotten better and better, showcasing that upperclassmen are worth putting on your NBA team. In 2025, he was the point guard LA often turned to prior to the trade deadline, and he was a terrific off-ball player after. His outside shooting remained consistent even at an increased volume with more off-the-dribble looks. And defensively, though the physical tools are not what scouts look for, the results speak for themselves. Reaves is a talented all-around player who will do whatever it takes and never takes a play off. LA will be counting on him in the postseason. Number 31, Tyler Herro. He embraced a bigger role on offense this year and early on was putting up some spectacular performances. He was letting more shots fly than ever before, and they were falling. But around New Year's, when his teammate Jimmy Butler began forcing his way out, you could tell there was a mood shift on the team. In the second half of the year, it appeared Herro was forcing shots too much due to the spacing on the floor not being as good. This led to dips in his efficiencies across the board. But he did what he needed to do to try to get his team as many victories as they could. We still need to see his defense improve though, but on offense, Herro is a very good player. Number 30, Jamal Murray. After a very shaky start to the year where he didn't even look like a top 100 player, Jamal found his mojo after Christmas. During the second half of the year, he became one of the league's best shooters, plus he can take players off the dribble and finish inside. His passing is beautiful, and defensively, he is a very good player around the perimeter. He is a strong and confident lead guard who plays very well both on and off ball, where he finds himself more often in the Denver system. When the shots are falling, Jamal Murray is one of the most fun players to watch in the league. Denver, no matter what, is going to be a very tough out come postseason time. Number 29, Nikola Vucevic. His name doesn't get brought up much when people talk about the best offensive fives in the league, but Vucevic is the complete package in that regard. He is a unit who can score both in the classic post-up as well as beyond the arc at an elite rate. Plus, he is a significant threat on the offensive glass, and he is both able to and willing to pass to open shooters and cutters. Vucevic's presence on the court elevated Chicago all year long, moving them from a tanking team to a play-in contender who will not be an easy out. Come playoff time, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Number 28, Norman Powell. It may be shocking to see Powell so low on this list, as most people viewed him as nothing more than a low-use floor spacer going into the year. But he has risen to the occasion in ways nobody could have expected. At 31 years old, Powell just had the best season of his NBA career. His scoring was spectacular, his shooting efficiency was deadly, and his defense was all they could have hoped for. LAC owes their success to their unsung heroes Powell and Zubac. They both had phenomenal years. Number 27, Jimmy Butler. He has a very significant ego problem, but when on the court, Butler is one of the league's best wings. This is primarily thanks to his stellar defense that suffocates and throws off his opponents. Plus, on offense, even despite not being a good shooter, he makes things happen by attacking the rim and dishing passes to his teammates. His presence in Golden State after the trade deadline took them from a fringe play-in team to competing for a top 4 spot in the standings, which is amazing. Number 26, Pascal Siakam. It may be easy to forget about Siakam with how little media coverage Indiana gets, but every time they step on the floor, the opposition is reminded how talented he is. Siakam is gifted in many of the same ways as Giannis. He is a stellar rim attacker, as well as a good rebounder, solid passer, and capable defensive player. Plus, he has a great outside shot that fell at a career best rate in 2025. Not many defenders have the physical tools to match up with Siakam, and even less have the basketball IQ needed. He is a fantastic player. Time for the top 25. At number 25, Zach LaVine. It may sound blasphemous to rank LaVine where I have him, because most people kind of view him as an empty stats kind of guy. But I think that's just ridiculous. In 2025, LaVine was one of the best high volume and efficient scorers in the league. As of right now of me writing this down, amongst non-centers to take as many shots as him, he was the very best in effective field goal rate in the league, proving he is not just a rim attacker, but also one of the best mid-range and long-range shooters in the sport. But the vibes were off in Sacramento. The coaching staff is unstable and inconsistent, and the best players have checked out pretty much before LaVine even arrived. This is not LaVine's fault though, so hopefully next year we can see a more all-in team and we can finally see LaVine play some meaningful basketball. Number 24, Trae Young. Few guys in the league are as fun to watch as Trae Young. Every time I watch him, he will do something I have never seen before, usually with his creative passing or dribbling. One time I saw him throw a behind the back pass on an inbounds on the baseline, which was just crazy. I never even thought about that. He led the entire league in assists in 2025, making the lives of his teammates so much easier. Everyone loves playing with such a willing passer. Of course, the shooting is where he kind of struggles. This year was not a good one from deep or inside, but he has the killer mentality that leads to him never turning down a look just because he missed a couple. This leads to some pretty spectacular makes, and forces defenses to stick to him like glue. I hope Atlanta can make some noise come playoff time. Number 23, Tyrese Halliburton. The 2025 season did not get off to a great start for Halliburton, but he started putting it all together as time went on, and right now, Indiana has picked up where they left off last year. Halliburton has remained one of the very best point guards in the league who can both space the floor, push the fast break, and he can create plenty of easy looks for his teammates. Plus, he is a talented defensive player. There really is not a lot to criticize about his game. He just started off the year slow, so the numbers are a bit low. Number 22, Franz Wagner. A nearly complete player around the perimeter, Wagner both has great size as a forward and the skills of a point guard. He can create looks all over the floor for both himself and his teammates, and he can switch onto pretty much anyone defensively. But he is not really perfect or even great in any one category. His inside the arc scoring is reliable, but the further he gets from the basket, his efficiency tanks far more than it should, especially with his shot diet. Orlando ranks at the bottom of the league this year in offensive rating, and this is in large part due to Wagner's shooting woes. If he finds that touch though, he could be a top 10 player in the sport, and the Magic would be a contender, but for now, this is where he is. Number 21, Darius Garland. The Cavs have been unstoppable all year long, and it all starts with Garland. He is a bit of an old school point guard, a smaller player who won't blow you away athletically, but someone who can navigate the floor with a sharp handle of the ball and create looks for others, including rim rollers, cutters, or shooters. Plus, Garland himself is a very capable shooter from long range, and he holds his own defensively around the perimeter. Garland is one of my favorite players to watch in the league, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do in the playoffs. Number 20, Damian Lillard. It was really unfortunate what went down for Lillard with the health scare that ended his season, but up until that point, he deserved a ton of credit for what he achieved. Once again, now at 34 years old, Lillard was an offensive juggernaut and big-time clutch performer. He was a major three-point shooting threat who proved he had the skills, confidence, and green light to pull up from anywhere in any situation. This forced defenses to stick to him, which of course caused a lot of extra room in the half-court set for his teammates. The difference of Milwaukee with Lillard on or off the floor is night and day. They needed him to orchestrate, and now without him, things are looking pretty dire. Number 19, Devin Booker. The nightmare season that was 2025 is pretty much over, and it's going to be one of the worst seasons of Booker's career result-wise. He was a tough shot taking specialist, which could be very frustrating to watch, but when he was on, he truly left opposition just beside themselves. Plus, his passing was continually improving. I think Booker, as a point guard, is one of the most underrated aspects of his game. Nobody considers him a point guard, but he ranks within the top 10 of the league in assists per game, while being the great scorer he is. Like I said, Booker has his moments, and I am sure some opponents think he's a top 10 player in the league, but overall, he just has way too many inconsistent nights, and the team just was terrible, although that's not really his fault. Number 18, Jalen Williams. The OKC bandwagon keeps chugging along, and this is in large part thanks to guys like Jalen Williams. This year, he saw his role increase offensively, and though his shooting splits have taken hits, he does remain at least a solid scorer both inside and out. It is his playmaking and defense, though, that actually show the noteworthy improvements, which have helped OKC win so much. J-Dub ranks near the top of the league in steals per game, and is second overall in defensive rating. His combination of quickness, strength, long arms, and most importantly, that defensive IQ, cause havoc every play for the opposition. If his offensive game can match what he's doing on defense, he could be a top 10 player in the league. Number 17, Donovan Mitchell. Consistently one of the better off-ball guards in the league, Mitchell did more of the same in 2025. He is a talented scorer in the half-court set from all three levels, as well as someone who can take over the ball and be the point guard when needed. He also has made improvements to his defense in Cleveland to become a pesky perimeter player. Mitchell really doesn't blow you away in any one category. He's not a superstar, but he is talented and he's got a great group of guys around him that has just created this winning machine in Cleveland. I think Mitchell's veteran leadership is something that probably goes underappreciated. He is just one of the best players in the sport. Number 16, Evan Mobley. It may shock you to see Mobley so low on my list, but I believe his impact goes well beyond his counting stats, and his numbers are pretty good. Mobley is a defensive star. Very few guys have the interior rim protection ability he has, while also being able to move their feet fast enough to stay in front of guards around the perimeter. He should finish the year top 6 in both blocks per game and defensive rating, while ranking well in many other advanced defensive metrics. He was integral to Cleveland's dominance all year long, plus on offense, he made things happen both inside and out, especially around the rim, as he ranked near the best in the league in shooting percentage within 3 feet. Mobley has everything you could want in a young player, but he's not quite broken into the top 10 in my opinion. Number 15, Jalen Brunson. If you were to just rank offensive ability, Brunson could be a definitely top 10, maybe top 5. It is a lot of fun to watch someone as small and unremarkably athletic as Brunson tear up NBA defenses. There are plenty of quick, crafty guys in the league, but Brunson does his magic a bit differently. He is strong, he has a low center of gravity, and he is just methodical. He moves amongst the trees in a way that is a bit awkward to watch and hard to explain, but he finds holes, he finishes layups, and he gets floaters. He also has a great 3-point shot that his stats don't do justice, as most of his shots are really tightly contested and often off the dribble. Brunson is also a very good passer, dropping plenty of dimes to his teammates, but defensively, he's just terrible. He's a fun player to watch, but his flaws are pretty tough to disguise. Number 14, Jayson Tatum. He is the primary offensive weapon for Boston, who is one of the league's very best teams, and is many people's pick to win it all. Tatum is an extremely talented player, and is gifted with both great size and athleticism. His ability to create looks over anyone, in any situation, is something to marvel, resulting in him being the go-to in nearly every crunch time situation. He is also a great and aggressive rebounder, plus his defense is also great, and he has become a very good playmaker for others. Historically, that's probably been his biggest knock, as he's not truly a willing passer, but in 2025, he figured something out and he averaged a career high in assists. The only knock I would say is I think sometimes he settles for the 3-ball a little bit too much, as he was second in the league in 3-point shot attempts, but he was below league average in actually making them. But it's hard to be great in everything. Number 13, Kyrie Irving. Just barely hitting the 50-game minimum, Irving has struggled with missing games his entire career, whether it be injury or off-court drama. Unfortunately, at now 32 years old, he has torn his ACL, but leading up to the injury, he was having one of the better seasons of his career. Irving remains a crafty ball handler and layup finisher who can knock down threes at a deadly clip, many of which come off the dribble with a defender very close by. Irving was somebody who was never bothered by pressure in late game situations, and his composure surely rubbed off on his teammates, as Dallas was one of the league's toughest outs through the first half of the year. But the future, unfortunately, looks very bleak for he and his team. Number 12, Karl Anthony Towns. Like his point guard teammate, Cat is an absolute monster on the offensive end, but falls well short defensively. He is extremely aggressive with the ball in his hands, and has the skill set to either score in the post, create and knock down the mid-range hook or fader, and of course stretch and drain a 3. When Towns has the ball, the opposing defense is all hands on deck and usually results in a double or even a triple team. Plus, he is a great rebounder, ranking second in the entire league. But his defense, like I said, is just terrible. It's honestly shocking how lackluster of a rim protector he is, given his size, length, strength, and the amount of time he's just been in the NBA. You'd think he would kind of figure that part of his game out. Still though, he makes up for it plenty on offense. Number 11, Stephen Curry. 36 years old, but he still got it. Curry is one of the greatest players of all time and remains a deadly scoring threat beyond the arc. This year, he has led the entire NBA in 3-point shot attempts while ranking in the 76th percentile in accuracy. It is the 5th best accuracy for a player, averaging at least 11 attempts all time, and fun fact, Curry owns the top 6 places in that category as well. But beyond just making threes, Curry is a crafty ball handler and passer who makes the lives of his teammates better with or without the ball in his hands. His defense is also, in my opinion, a bit underrated. Though he takes some plays off which hurts his team, when locked in, he can force turnovers and start fast breaks. Curry is a Hall of Famer, and 2025 was another legendary season. And time for the top 10. If you skip to this point, hello, welcome to my list. Number 10, Domantas Sabonis. One of the very best stat stuffers in the sport, Sabonis is the entire offensive hub for Sacramento. Just about every possession runs through him, and this is for very good reason. He has a very high offensive IQ, while also being one of the strongest players in the sport. He can pick apart defenses with his passing or just opt to bully his defender and push his way to the rim for a high-value shot. He even can space the floor out with an infrequent but extremely efficient long ball that fell at a career best rate in 2025. Even after the ball leaves his hand though, the defense isn't safe as he is second best in the league in offensive rebounding. Sure, his defense leaves a lot to be desired, but he battles and is always in position. Sabonis is a bit landlocked and doesn't have the longest arms for his position, which hurts him, but he ranked number 1 in the NBA in rebounding. I think a lot of people overlook what he does because of the name across his chest, but he is definitely a top 10 player in the league. Number 9, Kevin Durant. Another all-time great who has defied father time, KD remains one of the league's most deadly offensive players. He has a jump shot that he can pull in just about any situation regardless of defensive coverage or distance from the rim. He was top 10 in the league in three-point shooting, top 5 in at-the-rim shooting, and debatably the best mid-range shooter in the sport. But he takes way too many plays off defensively, puts forth lazy effort towards loose balls, and sometimes can be just kind of a dick to his teammates. I get that he is older, and he wants to save his energy for what he does best, but the Suns, they couldn't afford him to be lazy on defense this year. They missed out on the play-in despite being one of the most expensive teams in history. Watching KD concede an uncontested fast break on one end, and then yell at his center for being late on a rotation on the other can be kind of frustrating to watch. Durant is probably the best scorer in the NBA, but his effort elsewhere is what keeps him out of the top 5. Number 8, LeBron James. The greatest player of all time is doing things the league has never before seen. Even as a 40-year-old, LeBron consistently finds new ways to be the best player on the floor most nights. He is a brilliant basketball mind who understands the X's and O's of the game as well as any coach ever could hope. Pair this basketball IQ with his otherworldly physique, and you get an unstoppable offensive threat. LeBron can attack the rim about as well as ever, but nowadays understandably settles for a career high in jump shots. But this isn't a bad thing because his three-point shooting is falling at a near career high rate and is well above league average. LeBron is unstoppable, and I think we all need to recognize that this level of play for such a long time is something we will likely never see again. His off-court preparations need to be studied. Number 7, Cade Cunningham. This is the guy who I think is probably most likely going to walk away with the Most Improved Player award in 2025, whether you like that or not. Cade is pretty much the responsible for carrying Detroit from the very bottom of the league in 2024 to fighting for a home court advantage spot down the stretch in 2025. His on-court play has matured well beyond his years. He has had these skills for a while now, but his effort and leadership are at a level we have not seen him show before. Cade has a very high basketball IQ and a ton of confidence with the ball in his hands. His half-court creation ability is great. Even with some shaky players around him, he still ranks in the top 5 in assists per game. Cade and company are going to be underdogs in the postseason, but they will be underdogs that any team would fear. Number 6, Anthony Edwards. It is really difficult and rare to continually get better in the NBA for 5 straight years, especially for a first overall pick, because those guys usually honestly have coasted to where they are and they get punched in the face by reality, and it takes them a while to either punch back or give up. Right now, he is a nearly complete player. Offensively, his outside shot has reached a level nobody saw coming. He launches over 10 tries a game and ranks in the 78th percentile in accuracy. And a lot of these shots are off the dribble because he is the team's best offensive creator. His playmaking has improved significantly, even if he admittedly doesn't like to pass, and defensively, he has become a hound around the perimeter who can also be very physical with the bigger bodies inside the arc. There aren't many guys in the league who do as much as Edwards does offensively, who are also counted on to be big stoppers on the defensive end. but he has embraced both roles of the game. He listens to his coaches and veteran teammates, and he seems to care about the sport more than anything else. Edwards is a great player, and he's going to accomplish a lot in his career. Number 5. Luka Doncic. Nobody predicted 2025 to play out the way it did. Luka was supposed to lead his Dallas team that had just made the finals back into battle. But their GM Nico Harrison had other ideas, and to a degree you have to admit you at least kind of understand his point of view. Luka is chronically out of shape. He doesn't seem to take the fine details of the game seriously, especially on the defensive end, and he has an attitude problem that does distract from his game. But holy cow, the guy is still really stinking good at basketball. Luka is a near triple-double threat every night who can either space out the floor with a tough off-the-dribble look, or he can bully defenders and score around the rim. His athleticism is not where it used to be due to his injuries and fitness issues, and that does hurt his game, but he is such a good player still. His playmaking remains at the highest level in the sport. Regardless of the difference in athleticism between he and his defender, his craftiness and strength give him the edge. If Luka has the ball in his hands, is not distracted by a controversial whistle, and is motivated to capitalize on the possession, LA will get a highly effective shot attempt. The only thing keeping Luka away from the number 1 spot on my list, which is where I had him last year, is his shooting effectiveness and sometimes his sloppy or frankly lazy decision making on offense. He could flip the switch though in the playoffs and be the best player in the sport. Number 4, Anthony Davis. It is poetic putting these two right beside one another in the ranking, but that's where they belong. Both guys were plagued by injuries this year, so even if you wanted to factor that into the ranking, it's a draw. But by pure basketball ability, I am giving a very slight edge to AD. He is a brilliant 5-man who blends every type of center archetype there is. AD can catch lobs, rebound with the Giants, protect the rim like a super athlete, he can move with the ball in his hands, he can pass to cutters and shooters, and he can knock down the mid-range jumper at a pretty high rate. But he does struggle with the long ball. AD is capable of doing almost anything his team asks of him. With LA, he was the almost full-time 5 and he looked like a superstar. And now in Dallas, he is getting more of a run at the 4, and though he's been hurt, he's looked really stinking good in this role as well. I'm a big fan of Anthony Davis, and I said in my reaction video to the trade a few weeks ago, in a vacuum, Dallas may have gotten the better player relative to their team needs right now, but the age difference and injury history are real. He had, in my eyes, a first-team All-NBA season this year, but the future is how we will ultimately gauge that trade. Number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I hope people are not taking what the Greek Freak has done this past decade for granted. Giannis, rightfully so, is one of the greatest basketball players the world has ever known. His combination of length, strength, athleticism, IQ, and the killer instinct really are one of a kind. There is no situation where you look at the matchup and question what Giannis is going to be able to accomplish. Every night he sets foot on the floor, the opposing team is constantly worried about limiting him to non-historic production. Giannis should finish the 2025 season ranking within the top 20 in the league in shot blocking and assists, as well as top 10 in rebounding and top 5 in effective field goal rate amongst those who take double-digit tries per game. And of course, can't forget he's top 3 in scoring. He is an absolute monster on the floor, and it is so much fun to watch him play. Unfortunately, Milwaukee has not done a great job surrounding him over the years. However, down the stretch, I did notice their shooters started to pick it up even with Lillard out, so they might actually be a tough out come playoff time. Giannis deserves MVP votes, but he will not be getting the award. Number 2, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Last year's official MVP runner-up is many people's pick to claim the award this year. And this is for good reason. Shai just had one of the greatest offensive seasons the league has ever seen, while also leading his team to the most wins in all of the NBA. Shai will finish 2025 first in the NBA in scoring with an incredible 32 points per game. He did this while ranking inside the top 15 in assists and inside the top 3 in steals. He does most of his work inside the paint off the dribble, as he is a crafty and quick ball handler with terrific athleticism. He either scores a layup, a close floater, or, and I know you're waiting for me to say it, he draws a foul. Yes, Shai has developed a pretty poor reputation around the league and from the fans for foul baiting. He does have a lot of hilarious and infuriating clips go viral online. We all know the NBA loves to give their stars a favorable whistle, and smaller guys like Shai crashing into bigger bodies and flailing does tend to lead to a lot of free throws. But let's not hate too much on the player, let's hate on the game. Moving on from this, Shai can also shoot the 3-ball reliably, and he is a great team leader. OKC is a very young team. I think their average age is 23, and the youngest average age of a championship team was 27. So what they're doing right now is truly unheard of. Shai is going to get a lot of MVP votes for accomplishing what he has accomplished this year, and it's for good reason. But he's not my MVP. The number one player of 2025 is Nikola Jokic. I am not exaggerating when I say this. He may have just had the most dominant basketball season the NBA has ever seen. Jokic looks like he will finish the year ranked within the top 3 in all of scoring, rebounding, passing, and steals, while also finishing top 15 in effective field goal rate and top 25 in three-point shooting. But by the way, if you remove the league-leading 21 plus heaves he threw up this year because he doesn't actually care about his shooting percentages, you would see Jokic in the top 3 in three-point shooting percentage. During this season, Jokic will finish with no fewer than 30 triple-doubles, which triples second place. He also had no fewer than 10 40-plus point games this year, which is the second most in the league. He also had 10 15-plus assist games, second in the league. And he had 5 20-plus rebound games, again, second in the league. All of these were second best to somebody different. The fact that Jokic is so great in so many different aspects of the game that don't share much overlap is what sets him apart from guys like Shai, Giannis, or AD. He also had the 4th ever 60-point triple-double in league history this year. And he had the first ever 30-20-20 game in league history. Maybe you're a fan of the advanced side of the world. Well, if you look at his player efficiency rating, or box plus minus, you'll see that he ranks top 4, not just in the season, no, top 4 in league history. Now maybe you're a staunch eye test guy, you don't really care about numbers at all. Then just watch him play. He looks like a full-grown man competing with a bunch of elementary schoolers in a driveway. His methodical picking apart of defenses, lights-out shooting, ability to bully just about anyone around the basket, and ability to lead a team without being a hothead are all at the highest levels of the sport. In a similar fashion to Giannis's situation in Milwaukee, Denver's front office really has not done a very good job team building. Most of their breakout role players walk away in free agency for nothing. Denver also swings and misses on most of their draft picks. They can't even find an adequate backup 5 to Jokic, as they are still running DeAndre Jordan in that role. The fact that Denver right now is competing for a top 4 seed with their roster that they have is truly amazing. It would be an interesting experiment to switch Shai and Jokic in NBA 2K and just see how the seasons play out 100 times. I have a feeling Jokic's Thunder would fight for 75 wins, I really do. I am confidently picking Jokic to be the MVP of the NBA in 2025, which would be his 4th time winning the award. Truly amazing. So there you have it, my complete top 100 list. I really appreciate those of you who watched all of it, or if you just skipped to the top 50, top 25, or top 10. That's why I put the little timestamps in there. I apologize if my voice is dying. I've been recording for over an hour and a half talking straight into a microphone. I've been pausing a million times because my dog and my cats are just running around the house making a ton of noise, so I keep having to repeat myself, and my voice is dying right now. But I really do love making these videos. I look forward to making more content throughout the summer, NBA playoff content, FIBA Continental Championship content, and of course, NBA draft content. So if you're looking forward to that stuff, please subscribe for more basketball related content. Like the video if you have not already, and I will see you all next time.